Hello, welcome. Welcome to the first episode in a series that I'm going to call RC Rescue, where I take some sort of neglected RC car and bring it back. Now this can go all the way from simply, oh, this is an RC car that's been in the loft for a couple of decades. It was working when it got put there, but now the batteries are flat and we don't know if it's working, so clean it up and test it and see if it's working. All the way up to, this is utterly trashed, I had a massive accident with it, it's all broken, can you repair it? And everything in between. So it doesn't necessarily need to be a lot of work, but it might be. But the bottom line is it's got to be an RC car that's neglected and in dire need of being brought back to life, otherwise it's just going to be forgotten and lying and doing nothing. This car, Schumacher SST Axis 2, is far more of the former, it's just been sitting in the loft, rather than the latter, we smashed it up variety. This has been sitting in my parents' loft for a decade, and I know it's a decade because a friend of mine used to run this at the local club thing that we ran between friends, and that was last run in 2015, a decade ago. So I know how long it's been sitting. I'm not sure where we got this from originally. I think it was an eBay find years ago, but it might not have been. It might have been a tie-in to my really old racing club that I did in the early 2000s when I raced touring cars, because I know for a fact that this is a Team Lossy shell off the Team Lossy XXS, which was the car back in the day when I raced. So we'll see. I haven't looked at it at all. That's part of the rules of this series, is I don't get to look at it prior. I've just got to, see as you're seeing it. Today on this video, we're just going to have a close look, see if we can find anything, identify anything wrong. And then on the next video, we'll see if we can get it running and replace things that need replaced and fix it up and all the rest of it. I don't know what to expect. But first of all, let's have a look at the car itself. It's very filthy. I recognise this body shell straight away. This is, as I said, the Team Lossy XXS body shell. The kit, the XXS kit, came with what I consider the new shape Dodge Stratus. This is the Dodge Stratus. Prior to this slightly more rounded one, there was a sort of boxier, more old school looking one, which I ran and I preferred. I did have this body shell with my Lossy because it came in the kit, but it was the first time I ever tried to spray paint and I actually butchered it. I spray painted all over the place. There was runs down the shell. I spray painted the chair in my parents' kitchen. I spray painted my mum's handbag. I spray painted the wall. I spray painted the picture on the wall. It didn't go well, so that body shell went straight in the bin. So I never did get to run this body shell. So this is one of those. It's in remarkable shape because I remember it getting smashed all over the shop when we were running these touring cars. And although there is a lot of sticker damage, cosmetic damage, and there's bumps and stuff, there's very few splits. There's a split there above the wheel arch, and there's a little bit of paint bursting off, a little bit of impact damage, but it's not bad at all. It's obviously a very good quality body shell, and the bumper fits it really nicely underneath as well. Looking at it now, most of the stickers are probably relevant to the Lossy that this body shell used to be on, not the Schumacher, because obviously you have the Team Lossy symbol there, you have the BRCA number 8 sticker, so it was raced. You have the Team Lossy symbol there, you've got the Team Lossy symbol there. These were the flame stickers that everybody put on the chassis of the XXS, because on the box art of the XXS, on the front of the box, the flame, TL with the flame, was on the chassis and it looked really cool. And then when you opened the box, it wasn't there, so everybody peeled it off and stuck it there, including myself. Model Racing Technology, MRT, that was a company that made speed controllers. I don't know if they made anything else, but it got MRT there, MRT on the side there, and obviously on the wing. They used to run, I don't know if I still have an MRT speed controller, maybe failed after so many years, it was 20 odd years old. It was a really good speed controller. I had the no motor limit on brushed motors, so you could run any brush motor, all the way down to the very most powerful low turn motors, and it was waterproof and it had built-in launch control that actually properly worked, as demonstrated from a video I did years ago on my Tamiya TT01E, because I used to run the MRT speed control. I don't know if MRT made these extreme cells that this is banging on about, because it does have MRT and extreme cells next to each other. on many points in this body shell, so possibly they made batteries as well. The extreme cells would have been how well balanced each cell was, because it used to be 6 cells of nickel metal hydrides or NiCads, mostly nickel metal hydrides by this point, and you would have them balanced evenly, and the better quality of the cell, the more accurately balanced between each cell they were. You know, they were almost identical voltage to the degree. Yeah, I think this was run by someone who was pretty serious. Obviously Michelin is not relevant. It just looks cool. And the semi-translucent pink wheels are definitely a choice. I don't hate them as much as I should, but I don't like them. But you know, whatever, pink wheels, yeah, fine. Yeah, this has got holes cut for more than one car. I think it probably came with holes cut for the Lossy when it was new, or at least the dimples in the bonnet showing you where you should cut. So you got holes there, and obviously a couple of aerial holes. And I don't know if that's a much bigger hole there where this aerial's going through. I think that was for when you have a transponder that wasn't yours. If you were just trying out a club, for example, you give you a big chunky transponder that would poke up through the windscreen, put a body clip through to hold it, and then eventually when you were a member of that club, you got a proper little miniature transponder that stayed in the car. My dad brought this from his house in his loft. He brought this transmitter with him because it was the only transmitter lying around near the car, but I don't think it's for this at all. This looks all the world to be like a 2.4 gigahertz, much more modern transmitter. It says BSD Racing on it. It has all sorts of steering and throttle trim adjustments. It said this looks a lot more modern. Yeah, this is a 2.4 gig, 2-channel. And as you can see here, this is a great big long aerial. So this is either a 27 megahertz or a 40 megahertz system in here. Much more old-fashioned, so that will not be the transmitter for this. So I don't know if there is a transmitter for this, and I don't know what truck currently doesn't have a transmitter, but there you go. So that's not relevant. Let's have a look at this. It's a bit sticky and horrible. The paint job's not wonderful. It doesn't look bad, especially at a few paces back. You know, once it's cleaned up, it'll look absolutely fine, but the mask and the execution, yeah, not wonderful. Had a couple of attempted repairs at the arches. That one, I think it was maybe preemptive, because that one's got it there and there's no split in that arch. This one has a split and it's split through the tape, but it's actually not bad. I could repair up, no problem. I don't think that's a bad body shell. Not the best paint job, but fine, it's alright. So what do we have? We have a very filthy old touring car with I don't know if you can see that, and there's a spider been living in it and it's trying to escape. It's a mess. Wiring's a mess. It's filthy. There's a set of old batteries in there that are starting to go green, so I'm guessing there's nothing. I mean, I could plug them in, but there won't be any voltage, I don't think. Let's have a look. Switch this on. No, completely dead. Oh jeez, they're a bit bent from, I think, heat. And heat's melted the Dean's connectors a bit. I mean, look at that, it's not even protected. Terrible soldering, not even protected. It has, yes, 27 megahertz. That's an HPI receiver with a number 5 green crystal in it. So that's 27 megahertz. It's got an old Ansman speed controller right at the top, speed cable tied on. The Ansman is a rebrand of an M-Tronics, which I used to like. Problem is, they're not LiPo compatible. They don't have a LiPo voltage cutoff. So although they'll work on a 2S LiPo, it'll kill the 2S LiPo unless you stop early. So the Schumacher SST Axis 2. This came out in the year 2000, following on from the Axis in 98 and the Axis Pro in 99. They're all very similar. The easiest way to immediately tell the difference is this Axis 2 has got, rather than a full top deck like its two predecessors, it has these adjustable rods for adjusting the rigidity of the top deck, so you can adjust the flex. I don't know how often people did that, but that was the idea. This was Schumacher's first foray into a mid-mounted motor, see the mid motor. with roughly equal length belts at each side. So you got the motor right there, spur opposite, and the batteries are obviously at the back. They're not symmetrical. They have one line in front of the other line, or one bank in front of the other bank if you want. The whole chassis isn't symmetrical. If you look at it, it's a bit of an odd shape. Didn't last very long, this design. The SSTs, the original SSTs, were released in the mid-90s, up to the late 90s. As I said, the original Axis was 98, Axis Pro 99, Axis 2 2000. And to show how little faith or how not effective this design was, apparently it wasn't actually a bad car, but the Schumacher Mission, which came after this, completely redid the concept, went back to rear mid motor with a longer front belt and a battery down one side, a much more traditional touring car. That came in 2001, so this design only lasted a year. Speaking of the Mission, that MI1 that I recently reconditioned a couple of years back, which was a re-released Mission, I could have done an RC rescue video on that, because I certainly rescued that, but didn't think of it at the time. So anyway, this one will be the first episode. So yeah, this design didn't last very long, 1 year, and then they completely ditched the entire concept. When I suppose the concept did come around in 98, so the concept itself was 3 years old. So not too bad, but when you consider that this came out in the year 2000, a year after the associated TC3, and there's no prizes for guessing which is the better car out of these two. Anything wrong that I'm seeing at the moment? Apart from the state of the wiring and condition of it, I did notice that the bumper mount is split down the middle there. I don't know, is that? It's definitely split. It's not a split piece. It's definitely just split. So that would need to be replaced if you can find one. Apparently the differentials are shared between the predecessors. I did read that the differentials are shared with the Mission, but that in the MI1, etc. But that could only be the case if they're using the front Mission differential on the front and rear of this, because the rear Mission differential is a 2-channel with 2 belts on it. So this isn't the case. They're not. Doesn't look like it's sitting straight, the differentials. Anyway, like the Mission, I don't know why they do this. Like the Mission, it's got 2 different design of turnbuckles on the same car. I thought maybe when I looked at the MI1, the Mission/MI1, that the previous owner had replaced them, but obviously not, because it would be an awful coincidence. So you've got adjustability with a spanner, and you also have adjustability with pushing something through and turning it, both on the same car. Odd. Like the Mission, it has the adjustable rear toe using the turnbuckles there, which is a design I really like. I really appreciate that. That's good, because the Lossy that this body shell came with, you replace caster blocks that you unscrew and screw in new ones whenever you change the rear toe, the rear caster, and everything. It affects that, and you eventually strip out the chassis because you're tightening it into plastic or graphite, depending on which version you have. This way, I mean, you're not going to wear it out like that. Again, like the Mission, you've got CVDs all around. So that's nice. I don't know why they put CVDs on the back, but there you are. Underneath isn't too bad. A little bit scarred, but it'll probably clean up really nicely. It doesn't look like it's been run outside. It just looks like it's been run in a hall and scuffing the ground and had a few impacts. It does have one mismatched screw there, because that's proud. That's not a flush screw. It's not countersunk. But overall, I don't think the condition's too bad. I might find things when I strip it down, because it's going to have to be stripped down and rebuilt. There's one thing you won't see on camera, but you just have to take my word for it, is these diffs feel awful. Especially the back one. You maybe even hear it. See if you can hear that. Another thing that's not good is the spur gear is supposed to be held on by an E-clip, but instead there's a body clip, because the E-clip's obviously broken or missing. That might work fine, but this will be spinning around at many thousand RPM, and I'd rather have something that couldn't go winging off. But I understand Eclipse are the worst things in the world, so whatever. One issue with this car is saddle pack batteries. Saddleback batteries are gone now. I believe there were saddle packed lipos that were released for saddle pack based cars, so you had a one cell on each side. Not really a thing anymore. You could run one cell to each side, wire them in series to double the voltage to get a 2S battery. Or you could get two small 2S's, wire them in parallel to double the capacity and keep the same voltage. Either way, I'll need to find lipos that are small enough to fit here. Don't think that'll be too much of an issue. I'll also look for saddle pack lipos and see what's available. I'm just remembering working on that Schumacher MI1/Mission. There's a lot carried over on this. Or rather carried over from this to the Mission. I'm pretty sure, I mean, it's got the same steering bump stops on the arms that the Mission had. It's got, I think, the same wishbones top and bottom, probably the same hubs. It's got the same, because it's got the same wishbones, it's got the same anti-roll bar mounting system. Yeah, there's a lot of carry on. I'm not sure what that's for. This little bit here just hanging out the back. Maybe it's for fun. It's probably for some sort of transponder or something, but fun's better. Let's have a look at the belt. The belts are, you know what? Okay, so the back belt is actually pretty good. Let me just... Yeah, the back belt, I would say... Unless you can get the belt super cheap, I reckon the back belt is pretty damn good. What about the front? Front is dirtier, so it's harder to tell. It might be worth refreshing the belts anyway, but they seem good. As does the spur. I mean, the spur, the teeth are sharp. They're not worn down at all. They don't look like they're starting to do that thing, that shark fin thing where they're starting to wear in one direction. No, that spur looks absolutely fine. I don't think the condition of the car is too bad overall. It has the Green Machine motor. I do remember that. Now, it has an epic end bell, which I believe the Trinity motors of the time also had, which were my favourite motors, so that's a good thing. I'm trying to, there is a sticker in the back showing RPM, etc. and torque, but I can't quite see. The torque is 148 Newton millimeters, which means it's a relatively torquey motor actually, because the P2K Pro that I have has 188 Newton millimeters, which is obviously quite a lot more, but that's a super torquey motor. And my Revenge in the Monster Pro barely scrapes by 100, or even slightly less than 100, I'm not sure. So it's got more torque than that by almost 50%. But I can't see the RPM readout. We'll maybe have a look at that next time when we strip it down, because this car will need to strip down and rebuild. But I am seeing it as a 27 turn single motor, so it's a stock motor, brushed stock motor, which is great because I like those. And if I do build this up, or when I do build this up, we are looking to start this little, I've said this so many times, start this little club together again, but the price has gone up quite a lot. It used to be £11 an hour, and now it's £20 an hour to hire the hall. So we need a fair number of us to make it viable, because we hire it for 3 hours roughly. That's what we used to do anyway. And we don't currently have enough people. So if I can get another car built, use it as a club car, or maybe sell it to someone cheap who's looking to start, that's another option. But it does need a bit of work first. What's the suspension like? It feels like it still has damping. It does still have damping. I've got to say, you can say what you like about some of the Schumacher designs, because this is weird, and the Mission was weird. Their shocks hold their oil really well. I mean, the Mission shocks were filthy. That thing was so badly neglected, and yet they did not leak. The oil inside was crystal clear, and this feels like the same. And these are the same shocks. And I have red versions of these Schumacher shocks on my Tamiya TT01E, and I've ran that for years, and they have not dropped a single drop of oil out of them. So, yeah, a little bit of work to do. I'll have to strip it down. I'll have to redo the diffs. I think they could probably be serviced. Actually, it does feel better just from working it a little bit. It's maybe just dirt, but I think it doesn't need replaced. I think it just needs serviced. I'll see what the belts will cost. I'll obviously need the front bumper mount because that's nasty. The bumper itself is pretty nasty, in fact, but it fits that shell really well, and it does have lots of cushioning, so I don't think that's an issue. It just needs a clean. I don't have the instruction manual, so I need to find one online. Yeah, scabby, but has potential, and will be fun. Hope you're looking forward to the next episode where I get stuck into this thing, we get it running right, and yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.